Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and in this video I'm going to give you guys some general guidelines around equipping relics in your roster. I'm going to give you the starting advice of what relic levels are necessary. We're going to move through the different times when we need to equip relic levels, and then hopefully you guys get a clear picture of how I invest relics in my roster. I'll show you guys some different things, and hopefully this leads you to be more efficient in your farming and save you headache down the road. As always, guys, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and before we get into our official list, we need to proclaim our love for our king, Wampa. I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart that you make this game so much better, and if you could, with your massive paws, you would whomp that subscribe button and grow this channel for free. All right, let's get into our squads here. Let's kind of talk about this, guys. The first categories we have are for Relic 3s that I want to talk about are our first relics, right? That your initial relics in this game, just keep them at Relic 3. Relic 3 allows you to take advantage of low-level datacrons and is going to boost your stats. It's not too expensive on the gear side of things, right? It's very affordable, and we can get a bunch of Relic 3s early on, right? That's a very easy relic level to obtain. The next category of Relic 3s are going to be Galactic Legend requirements. So once we've built up our Relic 3, our first 10 characters, which I will link that down below in the description, as well as our relic farming efficiency guide. So I'll have 2 videos in the description for you guys to check out if you haven't seen them already. So the next category of Relic 3s you should be investing in after your initial 10 should be your Galactic Legend level requirements. We want to make sure that that's the lowest level of Galactic Legend requirement is a Relic 3 on a character. As you progress in the game, you're going to start coming across these, you're hearing like backbone teams. Some people have they call them core teams or whatever. I kind of like to just refer to them as solid teams, right? These are teams that you're good. They're not fantastic, right? You're not going to be killing Galactic Legends with these guys or, taking down a Star Killer team, right? They're just a solid team to you. And that's what my Sith Triumvirate is. That's kind of what my Bounty Hunters are. So low-level relics are fine. I wish I could get my Grief and Mando to Relic 3. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. My resources at the moment are a little bit depleted, so we're going to kind of hold off on that. But hopefully that gives you guys perspective on where I'm looking at Relic 3s, right? We want to keep our Galactic Legend level requirements there until you get to a point where they're no longer performing the function that you need them to, right? The next levels we're going to look at is Relic 5. So I have 3 levels of Relic 5. You've got your GL Rex, right? Again, that should be your first priority, is building up those Relic 5 requirements for a Galactic Legend, or Star Killer or Grand Inquisitor, right? So Relic 5 is something that's very obtainable, right? I don't think it's extremely hard to do. I think it's better if you build your Galactic Legend requirements with Relic 5s first and then move on to what I call these boss teams. So with Relic 5s, the one thing I kind of like to think of it this way is that if you have a team like your Sith Empire, right? By Relic 5ing all of them, you're making that team so much more difficult than if you just have Relic 3 on everybody and then a Relic 5 Malak or a Relic 5 Darth Revan, right? By getting the whole team to Relic 5, I can take advantage of level 8 datacrons. I can use them in the challenge pit raid. There's a whole laundry list of reasons why Relic 5 is just super good for them. So that's your next level, right? That is, you're planning your farms out. You're thinking, you know what, I use my Sith Empire a lot, or I use my 501st could be another example. Let's get them to Relic 5. The next category of Relic 5s, right? We've got our boss team 2 and a high level. So here's the 501st. You're going to ignore gas at Relic 7 for the moment, just before somebody jumps in the comments and is like, well, gas is Relic 7, not 5. So you've got your high volume Relic 5s. These are characters that you're going to use all the time, right? And my 501st clones would fit that category, but my Wampa, I use them every GAC. Jedi Knight Revan is my literal plug and play for any Jedi team. Maul, Commander Tano are so important in this game. They're the 2 most important conquest characters to date. And then Star Killer at Relic 5. I'm using him in GAC so much that it's really worth having him at Relic 5. Not only does Relic 5 give these characters access to higher level datacrons, but additional survivability, damage output. They're all characters that, because you're using them so much, that Relic 5 is worth it, right? That, you know, a Relic 3 Commander Tano versus Relic 5 is a huge gap. Just like a 5 to a 7 would be, but again, as you guys have heard me say, at the level I'm at and for what I'm using her for, Relic 5 serves its purpose, right? That I can beat a Relic 8 Commander Tano with my Relic 5, right? Do I have to play maybe a little bit smarter? Sure, but I'm still going to beat her. So to me, the cost of getting her to, say, Relic 7 outweighs the benefit of having her there at the current time. My 501st guys, General Skywalker here, pretty self-explanatory why the clones are Relic 5. That's for the Challenge Pit Raid. General Skywalker himself is the first character I would recommend getting to Relic 7 that is not a Galactic Legend level requirement. He just is so good, and someone in the comments is going to say, oh, well, you need General Skywalker at Relic 8 for Lord Vader. Yes, but I recommend getting him to Relic 7 long before you think about Lord Vader. So he's that first character where Relic 7 on him is well worth it because of how much better he gets with Relic levels. All right, our next categories are GL Rex of, 7 and 8. So Relic 7, I have, I think, 2 Relic 7s, not including Galactic Legends, that are not Galactic Legend level requirements. Everybody else in my, roster who is Relic 7 is a Galactic Legend level requirement. Just something that the amount of resources it takes, the time involved, everything, it is just unbelievable. You need 15 of the blue signal data pieces to take a character between Relic 4 and Relic 5. You need 25 to go from 5 to 6 and 35 to go between 6 and 7. So for those last 2 Relic levels on a character, right, to go from 5 to 7, you need 60 of those blue signal data pieces, which is the amount of signal data that 4 Relic 5 characters would use. So keep that in mind, right, that you're trying to do as much with our resources and get the most bang for our buck. And so if you ask me, is a 1 Relic 7 better, or get a bunch of characters to Relic 5, the Relic 5 is the Relic 5s are looking a lot nicer. So again, just do the math in your head, guys. It's pretty, it's actually pretty easy once you break it down. Next category, right, GL Rex, Relic 8, very self-explanatory here. Ignore my Piet at Relic 9. I'll get into that here in a second. But yeah, save your Relic 8 materials. I don't want to say they're wasted on a Galactic Legend, but don't get distracted by a flashy Relic 8 Galactic Legend. Are Galactic Legends better with Relic levels? Absolutely. They're probably your best investment outside of GL Rex to get them higher Relic levels. The thing is, just in my personal opinion, if you're someone who's not spending money or you're going for like your first Relic 8s, use them for Galactic Legend level requirements. Don't throw them on like a Sith Eternal or a Kylo, because while they get better, they don't get that much better, right? It's not like, you make Sith Eternal Relic 8 and all of a sudden he's going to beat Lord Vader. It's just never going to happen. Or you put Relic 8 on Kylo and he's going to be able to, beat a Jedi Master Kenobi easier, right? Like it doesn't improve their performance that much. It does improve it, but the cost does not outweigh the benefit, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys think that in the comments as well. So just, throw it out there. So finally, we're going to get to our Relic 9. There's only one character in the game who is a requirement to be Relic 9, and that is Admiral Raddus. My Piet is Relic 9, and I did that it was like a week before Profundity requirements were released, and I threw my phone across the room. I was furious. Just from a resource perspective, I spent so much to get Piet to, all of my hoarded crystals, things like that, to Relic 9, and then I needed to do it all again. So I don't want to say that I regret Piet because it has been really good, but I'm also at a point in the game, right, 7.6 million GP, where I have access to resources that some of the other players who may be watching this, right, as newer players, don't have access to. So don't just go and blow a Relic 9 because it looks cool. Think about what you're going to need down the road. So the last thing I'm going to show you guys in the roster is just some, relic levels. Like you see my Galactic Legends, they're all at Relic 7. I would love more relic levels on them, but for what I need, I cannot afford to do that. And then characters where I've invested a little bit more, obviously my Piet is up a level. My Commander Luke is actually at Relic 5. That is for Datacrons only, and because he shares his stats with his team. I have videos on that in the channel if you want to look at that. And then my Beskar Armor Mando and Cad Bane are the last two I'm going to discuss. They're both Relic 6. Cad Bane's a Relic 5 GL requirement, so I just moved him up to Relic 6. Beskar Armor Mando, he doesn't actually need to be Relic for the Executor event. I moved him up to Relic 6 just for additional survivability. I actually think that it's helped a little bit, right? I'm not going to say that it's made a huge difference, but at times I've definitely seen the impact. So I don't want you to think that because you take a character to Relic 7 or something that you did something horridly wrong. But I try to make these videos, as you guys have seen the content I put out, it's all about being efficient, right? It's all about putting as little into your roster and getting the most out of it. And so a lot of these times with these relics that I'm showing you guys, by keeping them lower, you're preparing for something else down the road and making your roster making it more well-rounded, right? And then as you get down the road to 7 million, 8 million, right, as you're getting into that end game, you can start putting those finishing touches on characters where you've got a Relic 5 or 7 Commander Luke, right? Your Sith Empire starts adding Relic levels. We're throwing Relic 8 or Relic 9 on characters, right, now that we've completed requirements. So those are just a few things I want you guys to think about. Hopefully you found this video helpful, informative, and obviously I've got 2 links down in the comments on how to farm relics and who your first 10 relics should be. Otherwise, guys, that's the end of the video. May the Force be with you, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.